The Oregon tight end room is still lacking depth. This has been kind of a main concern or a main focus for our breakdown of Oregon's offense here in the spring. Right now, Oregon's only rostering 3 scholarship tight ends. You know who they are, but in case you don't, I'll go ahead and run through them. Terrance Ferguson, you got Patrick Herbert, and you got Kenyon Sadiq, the youngin from the 2023 recruiting class who's already on campus and enrolled. He was a Gatorade Player of the Year in Idaho, and he really, I think, brings a lot of pass catching ability to that room. But T. Ferg, man, I mean, T. Ferg has just continued to ascend as one of the top players on Oregon's offense after coming to Oregon in 2021, really seeing a lot of good playing time alongside Maliki Matavao, who has since transferred to UCLA this offseason. T. Ferg is going to be the man at tight end for Oregon, but obviously we know that Kenny Dillingham at Oregon last year liked to deploy multiple tight ends at the same time. That 14J package, if it's something that they want to continue doing, you're going to have to go out into the portal probably and get another tight end. We know that that's going to be a main priority for this Oregon staff with the transfer portal set to open again in May. But Patrick Herbert, P. Herbo, Justin's little brother coming from Sheldon as well, kind of a pride of Eugene story. I think there's reason to be excited about him because he had that touchdown. I want to say it was his first college touchdown against Cal last year. And he looked like a beast in the open field. Get that guy the ball, and, he's not going to be easy to bring down. I think Terrance Ferguson is definitely your top pass catcher, but I don't think we've seen the best football that Patrick Herbert has in store. And he played his first full college season last year. You know the story with him. He's been at Oregon for a number of years. I think it was originally from the class of 2019, and he just always was getting injured, really terrible injury luck. I think both of those knees had some pretty serious injuries, but he played his first full college season last year, got a knock on wood here. Never want anyone to get injured, but he comes into the 2023 season with some of that under his belt, and I think that probably does some good stuff for your confidence, right? We probably don't even talk enough about the mental toll that these injuries can take on these guys, and I think that's a huge takeaway for last season. Maybe Patrick Herbert wasn't putting up, amazing numbers, but just for a guy like him, or a guy like Cam McCormick, who's at Miami now, I'm sure we can kind of lump those guys together a little bit because they've both been injured so much. I think that they would definitely tell you just the value of being able to go through a full season has. You're not over there with coaches telling you, hey man, just, take those mental reps, stay in the gym working on your upper body because that's what you can work on. No, he was on the field. He was going through it. So he's looking a lot more comfortable. He has a full year playing with Bo Nix, as does Terrance Ferguson. And then Kenyon Sadiq, like I said, really talented pass catcher at Skyline High School out of Idaho Falls. They were using him sometimes to take the top off of a defense, as a really fast tight end at 6'4", 220. So you get a guy with a lot of pass catching ability, high upside player. But now the task kind of becomes, getting his body adapted to the college game. Because he's not really, right now, he's not really in the position to block for you. And he's going to have to block some pretty big tight ends. We know that Oregon loves to run the ball. I think that he's an interesting player to keep an eye on in spring because, like I said, just because of the lack of depth here, he's going to be asked to probably do more than he was maybe expecting. Or maybe they already told him before he got to Eugene, hey, man, you're our tight end in this class. And we don't have a whole lot of tight ends right now. So we're going to need you to be a sponge. We're going to need you to just take it and run with it. So I think that, kind of monitoring his confidence and how he does, how he's moving out there, how he's, doing with the playbook. Those are all factors that we have to keep our eye on here. And we saw the tight ends get much more involved last year. And I think that should still be a mainstay of Will Stein's offense as he comes in and looks to leave his imprint on this offense. But, I think you'd be foolish to not look at what worked last year and try to keep some of that continuity. If it's working, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. The tight ends were much more involved last year after primarily being used as run blockers. We all know how that can get a little bit boring if we see too much of that, but they got a talented tight end room, and they're going to be looking for more pieces in the portal. A number of them have entered recently. I want to say Malcolm Epps from USC was an experienced guy that entered the portal recently. I know Ole Miss had a guy that entered the transfer portal at tight end recently. His name's escaping me right now, but we do know that Oregon has a connection to Ole Miss with Jaworski Beckham and Wilson Love coming over from Oxford to join Dan Lanning's staff. So you have some of those connections. You got to look at where Oregon's coaches were before they got to Oregon. We just try to kind of follow the roadmap if we can back to these players. But we know Oregon needs a tight end before next season, and they're going to be looking in the transfer portal to find that guy. So tight end room still lacks depth, but it's a good room. And I think that you should be, you're happy about where the starters are, but you want to have, like we were talking about with Bo Nix and the quarterbacks, you want to have options in case anyone gets hurt or has to miss any kind of time. Because right now, Patrick Herbert goes down, Terrance Ferguson goes down, Kenyon Sadiq's, a starter. And I don't know how he's going to do with that kind of a role. I don't think that we've seen enough of him at the college level to kind of speculate there, but you can kind of see what I'm trying to get at. That's not the situation that you want to put yourself in. So we got to see what Oregon does to address the tight end depth moving forward.